What better way for a son and father to bond over than their mutual love for the Dallas Cowboys? Hi, I'm Michael Davis with my dad, Mack. We're a star-studded son and dad duo on the star-studded Cowboys Network, powered by Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting. And this is Dad and the Boys. Yeah, it's the star-studded Cowboys Network for Dad and the Boys on Boom Broadcasting, Fans First Sports Network. Guys, I'll be honest. This is probably going to be a short episode because Dallas, fell pretty short by about 28 points. This is actually the first time ever in NFL history where a team has lost 5 straight home games, including the playoffs, by 20 points or more. So that is not a good record to have. This is a 3-6 year. They're 0-4 at home. It doesn't help they lost to the Eagles. I personally didn't give my prediction. I wanted to be a Davis after last week's episode, but this is one we probably could have seen coming, especially with Dak not in the picture. And we started Cooper Rush, and then we saw glimpses from Trey Lance later on in the game, but there was just not much going. And Dad, I will say this: the bright spot was we started to get pressure now that Micah Parsons is back.
Welcome back, Micah. We missed you. So the bright spot of this whole game?
We got 5 sacks in the first half.
The bright spot of the whole game?
We didn't go scoreless.
Nope. The bright spot of the whole game?
What?
DeMarvion Overshawn is not going to have a significant injury.
Oh, that is good.
That's the only bright spot that I found.
Can you update on that? Because
he's dealing with bursitis in his knee. So they're reporting that that's not going to be a significant injury. It does not say whether or not, they haven't decided yet whether he'll miss time coming up. But coming back from a knee injury last year that wiped out his rookie year, and he's been a bright spot all season for the defense. And so the fact that when he went down, and you remember watching the game Sunday, it was like, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I was just like, of all things, now the kid's going to get hurt. So now here's our next injury that we're dealing with in the year. Because it seems like it's been at least one a game.
And significant ones.
And significant contributors to the team. Dak, Micah, Lawrence, well, I would say Bland, but he hasn't been back yet.
What is up with that? Like,
I know when he came back, he had a setback and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if they're just being cautious or what. But I mean, it's
one of those years.
This isn't the year that we were anticipating by far. It looks like this will be not that McCarthy will be fired, but he will face the fate of Jason Garrett. Unfortunately, I don't think they set him up properly to have success this year. The front office didn't over the off season. I don't know what their thinking was. I really don't. Jerry, you're not getting any younger, bro. And I know you got that AI thing in the stadium that we can talk to Jerry even after you're gone. But you know what? You're not getting any younger. You won't be able to hoist the Lombardi even after you're gone. So, I mean, why would you not go all in? Why would you not set the team up for success? And granted, there's nobody that could have had a crystal ball and then foresaw all the injuries that this team has suffered. But part of that's having the depth along the way to give them a chance. I did read yesterday that Mike is saying that Cooper Rush will be the starting quarterback next week on Monday night.
And you're not happy about that.
I'm not. I'm not because, you
give up a 4th-round pick to go trade for Trey Lance. And Grant, Dak's our start. Like, Dak is the guy.
Our start.
Dak is the guy. I think that is the one good thing that came out yesterday is, like, all the Dak haters can't blame Dak for that yesterday. But at the same time, we did trade a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance.
Well, it boils down to this. When you've got a stadium full of fans that are booing when Cooper Rush comes back onto the field and cheering when Trey comes on, that should tell you something about the pulse of the fan base. Give them some hope. Give them something to be excited about. I mean, in all honesty, even though I predict Dallas to win this game, chances are they were not going to.
Yeah.
I mean, the hurdle was insurmountable at times. Although they played well during the first half, I mean, the longevity of it, I mean, they had moments with Micah sacking Hurts and getting a fumble recovery by Leofau. You had Zeke running the ball hard, even though he had the fumble. But when we're 31st in the league in rushing, and our rushing attack against the number 2 rated Russian defense is outpacing our passing game.
2 yards per pass is ridiculous.
I mean, and that I know that people can say, well, yeah, Trey Lance took him through an interception and Cooper Rush didn't. I honestly kind of almost, what did I tell you when that happened? I said, well, I really can't blame Trey. I said, I really can't blame the receiver because he's running a long route and we haven't thrown the ball long all day.
Yeah.
He was probably like, well, I'll just jog out here. He didn't even look back. He's like, what's the deal? Oh, dang, the ball didn't come this way.
Well, I mean, when it's 3rd and 9 and you're throwing the ball in the flat.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, maybe the offensive line wasn't protecting as well. But we never gave receivers a route to give them a chance.
Well, and it was check down city. I mean, it was like 2 yards, because it's like we're getting the ball out quick so he doesn't get sacked. And I get that, but
the secondary started playing up closer to the line.
And so then, I mean, if you think about that and going forward, I'm sure defensive coordinators are going to be, if Cooper Rush is going to play like that, the secondary can come up.
They can load up the box.
They can load up the box against the run, and we stand no chance.
Yeah, very, very.
I mean, I'm okay if you're going after Travis Hunter.
Take for Trav.
Can go both ways. I'm okay with that. Give me a reason to believe. Give me something to believe in. Is it next year? What are you going to do for next year? Who are you having coaching this team? Because I do believe Mike McCarthy won't be back. Folks, and if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, let me give you something to ponder. I don't think Zimmer's going to be the coach. Yeah, there's the Belichick thing out there. But there's also another person out there that is really highly thought of in the organization.
Can we do a cliffhanger and take a commercial break?
Yeah.
And get that name? Because I have a name too. I want to see if we're in sync. We'll take a quick commercial break for Dad and the boys, and we'll be right back with a prediction of who could be the coach next year if it's not Mike McCarthy. Welcome back to Dad and the Boys. Michael Davis, my dad and Matt. We left you on a cliffhanger before we got our sponsors in through Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting if you're watching the video feed. And you brought up a name that you might expect to be coaching the Cowboys.
Well, although I do love our boy Harris.
Al Harris.
I do love him, and I would love to see him get an opportunity to coach, and I don't know that it'll be with his team. Although they did put him up as an assistant head coach to kind of protect him.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't ever had a defensive coordinator position or any coordinator position, and he hasn't been a head coach and run a program yet. So if it's not Belichick, who's it going to be? Folks, let me ask you this. And you get it now. Fire McCarthy. Don't let him finish out the season. Fire McCarthy. Well, then probably Zimmer's coming in. Maybe Al Harris gets a shot that way. I don't look for him to fire McCarthy. I look for him to let his contract run out, and then he'll be like when we went to Dallas and saw Garrett play coach's last game against the Skins. Are you really wanting Kellen Moore? Just saying. Jerry and him like Kellen. Really highly thought of. Steven even spoke of it during the pregame that they've always liked Kellen Moore and thought a lot of him. Do you really want Kellen running the team, folks?
Can I answer that?
I mean, I would prefer McCarthy. I just don't think McCarthy was given a fair shake this year. I really don't.
And I think that's the issue is, and you just see the frustration boiling over with McCarthy throughout the game because he's like, my guys aren't blocking. I don't have a run game. We've traded this person. We've let this person walk in free agency. We've let this person go. We've let this coach go, this coordinator go. We have to have a new scheme defensively. My players are learning while they're hurt, and then players are holding out for contracts.
And I think that's really going to come to the forefront here in a few weeks when we go up against Washington.
Yeah.
Where we're facing a lot of guys that are really playing well. Now, granted, I mean, even though Biotis is playing well, I probably wouldn't have given him that kind of contract. I get that. Same with Armstrong. Fowler's balling out. I probably would have kept Fowler if I could have.
Knowing we had all these injuries.
But there again, we didn't expect that Williams was going to go down in the preseason. I mean,
or
in training camp.
Or Lawrence
go down and Micah
Parsons.
and Nealon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are your top four defensive ends.
Your top four defensive ends are gone to injury. We just got Micah back, and look what a difference that made. We actually generated and we got some sacks, which has been missing for the last, month plus?
Yeah. I mean, there were 5 first-half sacks, 2 for Overshone, by the way, who, left with that injury. He led the team in tackles. Amazing, by the way. Like, Michael was generating pressure. Carl Lawson was generating pressure. Like, we were actually...
And Overshone was?
Overshone a couple sacks. Like,
yeah.
we were doing good defensively, at least when we were getting pressure.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, I mean, again, you're talking about 3 first-round picks as wide receivers.
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I don't know if Jahan Dotson was.
I think he was. He was either a first or second-round pick for a wide receiver. And you're facing them with Trayvon Diggs. Awesome interception, by the way. We missed that. And Jordan Lewis and
Kalen Carson.
I think he got benched later in the game, and and then they took and put Mukamara in there. Mukwamo. But I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, I get the Trey Lance. Give me Trey Lance over 2 yards Cooper Rush. We know what Cooper Rush is. And we know that he can win games. Just don't know that he was the best one out there yesterday. Mm-hmm. At least with Trey, you had some legs. And he had some runs there. He had some pretty passing, too. I mean, he did some pretty passes.
At least he threw the ball down the field.
He threw it down the field. I mean, it was like 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 9, and we actually got a first down because he put the ball there rather than check it down. So, I mean, is Trey Lance a polished product? Is he going to win us and win us out? No, he's not. But let's see what we got. Let's see if it's something that we want to have for next year as a backup quarterback. Because, I mean, we're not tanking for Shadir Sanders. Mm-mm. And Deion's not coming here to coach. Because he wants his boy, and we got Dak. We got him at $60 million a year. We ain't getting rid of him. And I don't see us doing like Atlanta with bringing in
That would be
Kirk
ridiculous.
Cousins, and then drafting number 1 overall
quarterback
to play behind him for 3 years, or whatever. So I don't see that in the cards. So what are you giving us for hope? Well, let's see if Trey Lance can be a legitimate backup quarterback. Let's see if he can excel enough to, hey, somebody else wants to sign him, and we get a comp pick. Give us something in return. Give us some evidence of hope.
Yeah.
Because right now with Cooper Rush, I mean, it was pitiful. If we got 3rd and 4, it was like, oh crap, we're punting. If we're lucky.
I know that was the worst
and
part.
I mean, he had 2 fumbles. And it just
it was bad.
The offense was stagnant under him. Do you expect them to be any better against Houston? I don't. I mean, again, I will predict the Dallas Cowboys at least by 1 point. I do not pick against them, and I will never root against them. But if you're wanting to give me Travis Hunter, I'm good with that. He can play cornerback or wide receiver. I'm not sure on this team where I probably he'd play both. Give him a double contract. Who knows? I don't care. My money.
You know what's really interesting? We've talked about the run game and the deficiencies. Rico Dowdle had the longest play of the game at 19 yards, and the longest catch or pass play was 10 yards by Jake Ferguson. Everybody else was, single digits with catches. Like Cooper, you got to give them a chance. Make a play.
Just look at the rushing. I mean, you had Rico Dowdle averaging 4.4 yards on 12 carries. You had Zeke 3.7 on 6. And if you add 3.7 times 3, that's a first down, folks. Zeke was running hard. He had that fumble. Guy hit the ball with his helmet. That happens. It's like the punch out. It happens. I mean, I don't think he was being loose and careless with the ball. I think you're just down there. Trey Lance had 3 rushes for 17 yards, 5.7 a carry.
He ran with some juice.
Cooper Rush had 2 rushes for 2 yards. Now, granted, one of those was a sneak to get the first down. I get that.
Cooper's favorite number is 2, isn't it?
It is. 2 yards to throw, 2 yards, in carries.
He's changed his number this week.
So, I mean, and it's not – Cooper Rush is who he is. I mean, you get what you get. Let's see what we got in Trey Lance. That's my thing for Mike McCarthy. Let's just see. Let's see what we got for next year. What we can keep. What we can evaluate. I mean, what you got to lose? I mean, your job is probably gone anyway.
Honestly.
I mean, and those of you that keep harping about, fire Mike.
It's about
do you really want Kellen? Do you really want Kellen?
I don't want Kellen.
Because I don't know that Belichick's coming.
I don't even want Belichick. I feel like once Tom Brady was gone.
I don't know that Belichick would fit this culture.
No. You know who I would love to see? At least get an interview? Guy up in Detroit. Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, I could deal with him coming in. He would probably be my first pick.
Vegas odds have him at number 2 right now with, amazingly enough, and I don't like this idea, Mike Vrabel at 1. I would prefer more of an offensive guy like Ben Johnson, who's making Jared Goff look like he was worth that number 1 overall pick many moons ago.
Well, and Ben Johnson, I mean, he's creative.
That's why I want.
Yeah. And so if you put him in there, let him run the offense and him maybe up Al Harris to defensive coordinator. Get Al his defensive coordinator position and let those 2 run the show.
Yeah, Ben Johnson on offense.
And we don't even need Sean Hopper as a pseudo offensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah, Brian Schottenheimer.
Heck, I'd pick you as offensive coordinator. The kid on Madden's good.
Thank you. Jackson, I'll beat you in Madden.
We wouldn't punt, I can tell you that. We will not punt.
We will not punt. But we will punt to this Friday's episode when Dad and the Boys is back. We will preview that Houston Texans game. That is a Monday nighter, I believe.
It is a Monday night game. So we'll have the weekend to kind of get over this one. Because, again, it's Philly. And, I mean, some worse losses hurt, even regardless of score, hurt worse than others. Philly is a bitter rival. I mean, look, I was ready to tear up his birth certificate if he picked it.
We don't have to talk about that.
So, by the way, Philly and Washington, he does not pick. He better not. I still got the birth certificate in there. Mom's got it sitting there ready for me to shred or tear up.
Well, thankfully, I'm safe another day, I think. But Dad and the Boys will be back on Friday. If you guys missed on Out of Pocket yesterday, don't worry. You can catch the nightcap with me and Mike talking about Raw from last night. But Out of Pocket will be back this evening with some top quarter rankings, recapping some NFL and maybe some NBA action. We'll see what we have cooking today at 5:30 for Out of Pocket. But guys, appreciate y'all so much, and we'll let you return to your regularly scheduled lives. Thank you so much for watching Dad and the Boys with myself and my dad Mac. And remember, this is our first rodeo. We'll catch you here next time.